another video in our series on communication in the workplace. This one is going to be about what we call thinking traps. Thinking traps are ways that we think about different situations that we face that can be a problem or troublesome. For example, sometimes if we are facing a difficult situation, we might only be able to see that one situation, and we call that tunnel vision, where everything else around us is just, we don't even notice it. We're engaging in what is called tunnel vision. And we're only focused on the problem, and we may forget to notice the good things that are happening. We only see the problem. So there are a lot of these thinking traps that we could bring up, and they are things that we might face in the workplace. So I'm going to go over just a couple of these that are in your handout, and the next one is what we would call black and white thinking, and that is where we may only see things as one way or another, as in somebody is either with me or they're against me. There are no gray areas in the middle. But we all know that this may be something we feel every now and then when we're going through a difficult situation, but maybe when you're able to think a little more clearly, you know that there are gray areas. And in most situations, there are gray areas. Another one of these might be emotional reasoning. Now, in emotional reasoning, we may assume that because we feel a certain way, there's something wrong with us. Or we might feel that what we think is true just because it's coming from us. So the quote you have in your handout says, "I'm embarrassed, so I must be an idiot." That's emotional reasoning. You're already feeling bad, and so you start reasoning with that in a way that turns into a problem for you. The third one is overgeneralizing. That is where we see a pattern based on a single event. So one thing happens, and then we set up the rest of the day or the rest of the week or whatever based on that one event. We draw some very broad conclusions. So we might think when we're overgeneralizing that nothing good ever happens. Everything is always garbage. Nothing good ever happens to me. It's kind of similar to tunnel vision in that we may forget to notice the good things. All right, so the next example is disqualifying the positive. Also another similar thing where we may totally discount the good things, and even if somebody brings up a good thing that happens, we think, oh, well, that doesn't count. All the rest of it is garbage. The only thing that ever happens to me is garbage. So there are a lot of ways we can think like this that can be a problem. So you have some tips there for how to get out of these thinking traps. So when you get stuck in one, how do you get out of it? And how do you avoid them? So here are some tips for thinking more positively when you're in one of these thinking traps. Number one, broaden your view. Try to take a step back and look at the situation from a bigger view. How important is this thing really? You know, could I survive if things don't work out the way I want them to? Put it in perspective. It may not be quite as bad as you think. We may be, again, focusing on that one thing, and we're engaging in tunnel vision or whichever variety of the thinking traps you're on. That's what the problem is. So that's how we kind of get out of that one. The second thing is focusing on the positive. So instead of focusing on that thing at the end of the tunnel when we're having tunnel vision, focus on the positive and try and maybe make a gratitude list, things that you're thankful for, or make a list of the good things that are happening in your world. And think of it as an opportunity for personal growth, whatever that bad situation is. And then the last one is practice gratitude. Focus purposefully on the things in your life that are still good. despite the stressor. Allow yourself to be grateful for family or friends and other good things, and allow that thing or that problem, the stressor, to be there, but don't give it any space in your mind. Don't let it take up all your mental space. Don't let it live rent-free in your brain all the time. So try and not focus on that one thing. I know it's difficult, but try not to focus on that one thing. I hope that these are helpful for you and that you can use these tips to help yourself get out of these thinking traps. Thanks for watching.